Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Emergency Management Associates. We are back on the air. I'm sorry for that interruption. I'm extremely sorry for that interruption. I don't know how that happened. Okay? I took us down off the air and I was able to bring us back up. And that's how come we have this broadcast right now. I took us down and brought us right back up. Sorry it took me several minutes to be here. I'm very sorry we got interrupted. Again, we were talking about earthquakes and volcanoes and erupting. We showed you Mount Etna erupting, and the tourist buses had brought tourists to the bottom of the volcano, and what happened? We showed you that. Unfortunately, fortunately, nobody got killed, but unfortunately, people's lives were in danger. People's lives became endangered because those tourist buses were on new lava after the eruption. New lava after the eruption. They had no business being there. They had no business being there at all. At all. Just a second here. Sorry, guys. Those are the messenger chat rooms that we have for this channel. We have quakes and volcanoes that Sleepy Volcano has been monitoring and putting up for us, and we have Hurricane Heather and Renee Steffi that have the space weather and current weather here on Earth talking about that. But again, this is Mount Etna erupting. Okay, the first east crater collapsed. Then we had the summit eruption. Then the side of the volcano blew out. Why? Because the side pressures, the magma pressures from within the volcano itself had a weak side of the volcano. And then all of a sudden, that weak side blew out. That's what happens. This is exactly what happens. Now, fortunately, people were not killed or even hurt. Fortunately, the thing was controlled. It was controlled. Nobody's killed. We're very fortunate. Ray Spur says, yeah, we know about getting hacked. I just experienced it. Somebody tried to take us down. Okay? But again, we're talking about Etna erupting. Not just that. Not just that. We have a lahar from Fuego Volcano. Fuego Volcano burst earlier today, last night, erupted. Then we have the video from Guatemala showing the lahar going down the side of the mountain. Unreal. Let me hurry up and show you the end of it. Look at that. One person right there at the edge on the right-hand side. Then these other two gentlemen also approached the edge of the river. The river of lava and very hot water from the lava mixing with water and debris, rock, limbs, pieces of a tree, all kinds of stuff flowing down that lahar. This is a very dangerous thing to do. The best thing that people can do is stay away from the lahar. Don't go near a lahar ever. You will get killed. Now, I don't understand why they did it, number one. I don't understand why they did it, but if they weren't killed, I will be surprised. I would be very surprised. Incredible. Incredible. Then I want to show you this. This is Kilauea in Hawaii. It's erupting. It's erupting thousands of feet into the air. Huge eruption there in Hawaii. Now, this is the first time we've ever seen anything like this. Usually we have seen eruptions at Kilauea, and it's been way down inside the volcano. Now we have a caldera, meaning the previous eruptions lava cooled and hardened, and then a hole in that caldera erupts. Lava pours out of that hole, and this time it's fountaining thousands of feet in the air. First it was 150 feet, 200 feet, and now thousands of feet in the air. And people are down there near that rim watching it. I think those people are scientists. I don't think they would allow anyone other than USGS people to be near the side of that volcano. I don't believe these are tourists. The tourist land sidewalk or parking lot is probably 2,000 feet from the volcano. But as you can see from this location where they're filming this, they're still getting good video from the volcano. Kilauea volcano is erupting. Okay? Very dangerous thing. Very, very dangerous situation there. Now, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? My guess is anything. Literally anything could happen at this point in time. I hope nobody will get hurt by this. I'm hoping nobody else gets hurt by this. Okay? So far, I have no reports of injuries or deaths from the lava erupting at Kilauea. But this is new. This is new. Okay? Shirley is asking, Lahar can travel 60 miles per hour. No human can outrun one. You're right. You're absolutely right. No human can outrun the Lahar. And again, my advice is to stay completely away from it. Stay completely hundreds of feet or even thousands of feet away from it. Because what's happening with all that water and lava pouring down the side of that mountain, it could change course. It could change course. If a large rock fell in that stream, and then all of a sudden that water and lava decides to take a different route, all of a sudden you could put yourself in the middle of the island of the Lahar, or completely engulfed within the Lahar itself. Don't go near it. Those people that were over in Guatemala took their lives in their own hands. Stay away from Lahars. Fortunately, like I said in the previous few minutes before I got cut off here, I don't think those people were scientists at all. I don't think those people were scientists at all. They were tourists in Guatemala. That should never happen. Over in Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens, they have Lahar sirens all over the mountain. They were installed during the last administration of President Trump, between 2016 and 2020. And in fact, I believe it was 2019, President Trump visited Rainier National Park. And he visited there because they were going to test the Lahar sirens at Mount Rainier. And yes, they did work. Now, again, I'm going to warn everybody. Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens are in a process of possibly erupting. And they could erupt very soon. Okay? They could erupt very soon. You all know that when we have earthquakes around the volcanoes, earthquakes and or tremors around the volcanoes, as that magnitude of those tremors and the magnitude of the earthquakes goes up, rises, gets stronger. That means magma is working its way up through the magma chamber of the volcano. These volcanoes, all of these volcanoes, have been steaming. That is just one signal that magma is just beneath that huge lava plug of the volcano. right beneath that lava plug of the volcano. And that lava plug has been pounded away by the magma beneath it, pounded away by the magma beneath it. When that strong magma is pounding away, it is vibrating that lava plug. It's vibrating that lava plug, creating holes, fissures in that plug. Soon those fissures go all the way through that plug, all the way through that plug. And as a result, the magma is able to release water vapor from the magma. 6 to 7% of magma is water. Again, 6 to 7% of magma is water. So when magma is pounding away at that plug and the fissures develop, the magma is able to release the water from the magma in terms of steam. That steam travels through those fissures, and that hot steam actually makes those fissures larger. Hot steam enlarges everything it passes through. It's a simple physics experiment. We learned that in high school and college. When that happens, that lava plug, this lava plug here, the tiny cracks in that plug become larger, allowing more and more steam to pass through that plug. At some point in time, between the steam passing through the plug and the magma under pressure beneath it, continue to pound away at that rock, that plug. All of a sudden, that plug is going to shatter, won't it? It absolutely will. And then we have an eruption. We already know that Mount Rainier has a huge bulge in the volcano wall. It's been there for years now. So we know that that volcano wall is thin. And with increasing pressures inside the magma chamber, that volcano could erupt out the side, just like the eruption at Mount St. Helens in 1980. It can happen. It could happen at any time. Mount St. Helens has also been steaming. Mount St. Helens has also been moving, increasing. We know from GPS satellites that both Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are rising. The GPS sensors on the side of the mountain have recorded increases in the height of the dirt, the rock, the mountain itself is raising up because that magma chamber underneath the volcano is moving. And the magma inside that volcanic chamber is getting larger, larger, and larger. That reservoir is expanding. And at some point in time, it's going to burst. It's going to burst. We're going to have an eruption of both those volcanoes. We saw this happen previously over at the Canary Islands. Okay, we've seen it happen there. We've seen it happen at Mount St. Helens. We've seen it happen over in the Philippines. We've seen it happen in Indonesia. We've seen it happen. We need to get wise here. We need to get very wise here. We need to get smart. Trish, magma is only 6 to 7% water. 6 to 7% water. That's why we get steam from the volcanoes. Guys, people's lives are in danger here. People's lives are in danger. Around Fuego volcano in Guatemala, there are villages there. There are villages in the Philippines where we have several volcanoes erupting there. And they've evacuated those villages. The same thing over in Indonesia. I can't tell you how many times that we've had volcanoes erupt. And they've had to evacuate villages around the volcano. I know they've done the same thing in Japan at Sakurajima. Folks, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. I just want people to be aware of what's going on. Okay? We've talked about this before. And I'm going to talk again and again and again about this. That's why we talked about it. This is exactly why we have talked about this. How many times do people have to die? How many times do we have to warn people about what's going on to try to save people's lives? Folks, I wish it wasn't going to happen. I honestly wish nothing was going to happen. But some people just don't get it. Some people think that they just have to be near it. They have to see it for themselves. They have to get close. But folks, when these things happen, unfortunately, people die. We're here to talk about it because we're trying to give people the information. We're trying to help people. We're trying to educate people on what they need to be aware of. That's why we talk about volcanoes. That's why we talk about tornadoes, thunderstorms, deadly thunderstorms. We talk about rain. All the time we talk about rain and flooding. All the time. At what point are people going to start listening? We talk about tornadoes, we talk about rain, we talk about flooding. We just started hurricane season last week. Fortunately for us, every year at this time, we have sand blowing in from Africa, off the Saharan Desert, blowing across the Atlantic Ocean, drying the air out with the dirt and debris from the Sahara Desert. That dirty air tones down the likelihood of a hurricane spawning in the central South Atlantic Ocean. But sometime about the end of July, first part of August, all of a sudden that wind that spawned up in the Sahara Desert over Africa, it calms down. It calms down. Only then do the breezes calm down themselves. Light breezes blowing in from Africa, and even the wind shifts. That's when the humidity in the air in the South and Central Mid-Atlantic start spawning tropical storms. They start spawning hurricanes. Yes, we are going to see hurricanes very soon. Very soon. More likely than not. We've already had a hurricane in the Pacific. We had a hurricane in the Pacific just south of Mexico, south and west of Mexico. Now it has gone over northern Mexico. That monsoon rain has gone into Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. Earlier this week, we saw thunderstorms, heavy rains in that area, and it spawned flooding. Renee Steppe and her crews, Heather included, talked about storms hitting New Mexico and heavy-duty flooding occurring. That's because all that monsoonal moisture from that hurricane came up north. And that's what's going to continue to happen for about a month or so. Monsoonal rains in Arizona and New Mexico and parts of western Texas. Folks, we need to be aware of it. We are also going to see tornadoes and hurricanes spawning over in the Caribbean. Let me bring up the USGS map for a minute. I want to use the USGS map to show you what we're talking about. Just a second here. Okay. Down here in the Caribbean, we've seen many storms here in the Caribbean originate here. Then they flow through this area between Yucatan and Cuba. They go up here into the Gulf of America, go right up here into Texas. They've also gone into New Orleans. They've gone into Louisiana here, Alabama, Mississippi, and even flown in here to northern Florida. We've also saw hurricanes after the monsoonal moisture, or not the monsoonal moisture, but the dry air from the Sahara Desert here has stopped. We see hurricanes and tropical storms originate here in the southern part of the Atlantic Ocean, the central part of the Atlantic Ocean right here. After this dry air, this dirty air stops, then we'll have more humid air developing here. And yes, we will have hurricanes. We'll have hurricanes blowing in here into Venezuela, Colombia, going in here to the Leeward Islands here. These islands will also be affected. Bermuda, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic and Haiti, Cuba, and Florida. It's going to happen. It will happen. We also hear off the Yucatan and Mexico. We've recently just had a hurricane off the coast of southern Mexico down here. It moved north and came across Mexico right here. Came over here into the Gulf. Then we had that hurricane that was downgraded to a tropical storm pass over southern and western Texas, over here in the northern Mexico, New Mexico, and Arizona. That monsoonal moisture is continuing. It's continuing. We're going to have these storms continue, guys. We also have moisture coming in off the Pacific Ocean to California, Oregon, and Washington. We'll see some minor storms there. By minor, I'm talking about less than a hurricane or even less than a tropical storm. Now, back when I was a police officer in San Diego, we had a tropical storm come off of the Pacific Ocean from northern Mexico. That tropical storm blew in here to San Diego, caused all kinds of havoc, literally all kinds of havoc. When I was a cop, my captain and I had our partners rope us off to the push bumper of the police car. The push bumper of the police car, right here. My partner was parked at the parking lot of this pier right here, Naval Station San Diego. Prior to that storm coming in, the National Weather Service put up an advisory for small craft on San Diego Harbor and off in the ocean just west of the harbor. Small craft advisory to stay inland, to stay on land. Larger ships were asked to leave San Diego Harbor and go out to sea to ride the storm out on the ocean. But a small craft advisory was given for people to stay off the water in the harbor, but people didn't listen. My partner and I and my captain and I were parked right here. We had big heavy-duty ropes lassoed to the back of our duty belts on our person, and the other end of the rope tied to the push bumper of our car. People were out here having their boats destroyed along these piers, concrete piers and wooden pier timbers. The boats in the harbor being destroyed. My captain and I were pulling people off the water. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. People need to start using their heads. My captain and I put our lives in danger. We had the Coast Guard out here. We had the Harbor Police out here doing the same thing. Unreal, guys. Unreal. Yes, tropical storms do blow in from the Pacific here in Southern California, and I'm sure also up here in Los Angeles. They happen. What I'm asking all of you, please share this program far and wide. There's a reason we are talking about this, especially this time of year. Tropical storm warnings are going to go out. Small craft advisories are also going to go out. Tornado watches and warnings are going to go out. What I'm asking all of you is to help us get the word out so people aren't that stupid. And maybe even some of the stupid people will listen. Because people's lives are in danger, guys. People's lives are in danger. Please share this program far and wide. If you will also, give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing here. Share this program with your family, your extended family, your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones. Even the people you work with and also the people you associate with on social media. Last night, I saw that Sweet Polly Purebred had a channel on TikTok, and she shared it on her TikTok page. I really appreciate that. I understand from my wife and my kids that her program, her video last night on TikTok was followed by several hundred people that saw our video from last night that she shared. All I am asking you all is to share our program far and wide. The more people that see our program about these earthquakes, about the volcanoes that erupting, and everything else, we're getting the word out. At least people will have the chance to prepare. Maybe we are sparking something in their minds. So maybe people will listen to us. Maybe we can save some people's lives. Sir is saying this year will be a rough one, he thinks. He says his personal opinion, he feels that the government and the elites of our society are manipulating our weather. I agree they are. Our weather has never been like it is now. Never, ever. Never, ever. The storms are being drawn in by these weather stations, these radar stations. They put out protons. As the weather stations, you know, those great big, huge golf ball devices you see around airports, you see around military airfields and such. You see around Johnson Space Center in Texas, around Kennedy Space Center, and some of the other military bases, Navy and Air Force included, and Marine Corps. And the National Weather Service has also those balls. Those balls are weather radar. And that weather radar attracts the electrons in the air from the storms, from the thunderstorms. And as those electrons from the storms are attracted by the protons from the Doppler radar facilities, those storms are attracted to those radar facilities. And sometimes those facilities are built here, and built here. And as a result, when those facilities are there, emitting those proton waves from the Doppler, the weather systems are attracted to those stations, and then those weather systems follow a specific path. That's why we're seeing these tornadoes flow like they are. We see these thunderstorms and tornadoes flow like they are. They're following a path. Because the elites of our society know what this does. So they make sure those things are up and running. And even then, they not only make sure they're up and running, but running at full strength, attracting the storms to those radar facilities. Okay? We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen in Oklahoma. We've seen it happen in Kentucky. We've seen it happen over in Indiana, over in Ohio, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Michigan, all up and down the air. Florida too, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kentucky, Alabama. It happens. It happens. Now, I don't know what we can do to stop these elites from doing this. They first have to be found. Now, it's my opinion. It's my opinion and my opinion only. I believe Elon Musk and his Doge team have been following leads. I believe Elon Musk and his Doge team were following leads. And they were shutting down parts of the government that they found that were hurting the people. As you know, they shut down USAID that was funneling taxpayer money to other countries. Taxpayer money to other countries for Sesame Street, Iraq. Condoms to be distributed in Guatemala. Funneling money to terrorist organizations in Afghanistan, to the Taliban, and other Iraqi and Irani governments. We know for a fact it's happened. And yet, the Biden administration denies it. The Biden administration wants us to believe that nothing happened. And now our Congress, our own Congress, will not codify the law to make sure that that money never ever reaches terrorists or other nations again. Now, it wasn't for President Trump, Bush, and other presidents before him. USAID wouldn't have been here. USAID started during the Johnson administration back in around 1965, 1966. Meaning our federal money was being siphoned around the world. We're giving it to terrorists. We're giving it to the elite of our society. Not only that, but we were funneling money to those people that want to destroy this country. It's a fact. It's a fact. Now, some of you may have heard what has been happening between President Trump and Elon Musk. I want to give you the rest of the story. Okay? After this past week, when President Trump met with Elon Musk in the Oval Office, President Trump praised Elon Musk for what he's done with Doge. Elon Musk had to resign a week ago because his 130 days was passed. President Trump awarded him the golden key to the White House because of the work he did. But Elon Musk had worked very hard with his Doge team to stop money from being illegally spent. Not just spent from USAID, but millions of illegal aliens and other people has siphoned money with the Biden administration's blessing from Social Security. People that were over 120 years old here in the United States, there are no living people over 115. But people from 120 years old on up to 386 years old were being paid by Social Security. The Biden administration had awarded illegal aliens money, millions of dollars of money. One such illegal migrant in Massachusetts was staying in a Boston hotel, primarily for migrants that Biden had invited to stay in Boston. Those migrants were receiving SNAP food cards that were only supposed to go for those people that were indigent, that did not have money to feed their children. But Biden gave them to the illegals. Not just that. Biden gave them money from the Social Security Department. Some of those migrants, in fact, one of them, we know for a fact, that was getting $35,000 a month in Social Security benefits. Why? Most of the people on Social Security do not get much more than $1,300 a month. Some people, because of the length of time that they worked and the amount of money that they worked for during that time period, had also paid more into the Social Security barrel. So they got paid more Social Security than others. But needless to say, nobody got paid much money at all. Most people on Social Security are living below the poverty line. Those illegal aliens were getting money, a lot of money. As I speak about this one migrant, he was making upwards of $52,000 a year between Social Security and SNAP benefits. He drove a car that none of us would have been able to pay for. He drove a brand new automobile that none of us would have been able to pay for. He had a free cell phone. He got a free cell phone from the Obama cell phones. He had free medical benefits. He drove a car more expensive than anything than anybody else had. When he had to travel up to New Hampshire or other places to appear in court to try to be able to stay here in this country, he didn't drive that beautiful new car that he had. He used the government once again. The government paid for his Lyft charges. He was able to order a car, a taxi, to drive him from Boston up into New Hampshire for court appearances, and the government paid for it. Now, DOJ stopped a lot of that. President Trump and Tom Homan have stopped a lot of these illegal aliens, and they shipped them back to where they came from. And the United States Supreme Court has upheld that now. The United States Supreme Court has upheld that. But DOJ stopped that money flow. But our Congress, our United States House of Representatives, 3 weeks ago, put up this big, beautiful bill that President Trump has been trying to get passed. Putting it up without the cuts being codified. In other words, the cuts being put into that beautiful big bill. So those cuts would be made law. So our taxpayer money would not go to other countries and be illegally spent. Why didn't they do it? Politicians funneling money into their own pockets. Not just people from the House of Representatives, congressmen, but our senators as well. The House of Representatives passed that bill and sent it over to the Senate now. The Senate is also working on it, but not just working on it, tearing it apart. Then after the Senate gets hold of it, after they rip through it, and decide what things they want to put into it or take out of it, they'll send it back to the House of Representatives to go over it. If the House of Representatives then approve it, it'll go to the President for signature. Folks, what Elon Musk and the DOJ team have done is try to strip money from illegal sources to make sure the public money is not illegally spent. Elon Musk has a heart attack over the big, beautiful bill. President Trump wanted that passed. But again, it was not put, things were not put into that bill that President Trump wanted totally passed. Okay? That big, beautiful bill is anything but beautiful. Again, that bill was approved by the House of Representatives. Again, nothing was codified for the cuts that DOJ did. But the House had made an increase of $2 trillion to that big, beautiful bill. $2 trillion of new spending, which would nullify everything that Elon Musk and DOJ had done. It's no small wonder that Elon Musk was mad. Elon Musk last week told Congress the same thing, and told Congress that they needed to codify the cuts, then reduce the spending that they'd put into the bill. But Trump said the big bill was just fine. That is when the war of words started with Elon Musk, President Trump. Then yesterday, Elon Musk put words on X that Trump was affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein, thinking that Trump would be in hot water over that. Elon Musk alleged that the Department of Justice did not release the Epstein files because President Trump's name was in them. Yes, his name was in them. President Trump took a trip on the Epstein plane to New Jersey. At no time did President Trump take a trip to Epstein Island. At no time did President Trump take a trip to Epstein Island. At no time was President Trump listed as someone who went to Epstein Island or had illegal sex with minors. Trump has never been accused of wrongdoing by a single victim of Epstein. The innuendo-laden social media post on X provided nothing other than a guilt by association smear by supporters of President Trump. At no time was he ever accused of wrongdoing. In 2008, President Trump attended a party in New York with Epstein. And you see Giselle Maxwell here on the right-hand side in that black outfit she's wearing, and some other woman that Trump was allegedly dating when he was single. Trump was single here in 2008. Yes, he had association with Epstein, but he didn't do anything wrong. Jeffrey Epstein's defense attorney insisted authoritatively and unequivocally and definitively that his client had no information to hurt President Trump. Elon Musk alleged yesterday that the Department of Justice had not released the Epstein files because Trump's name was in them. Yes, President Trump again used a plane of Epstein's to fly to New Jersey. Trump has never denied ever knowing Epstein, but he was also the first known public major figure to distance himself from the scandalous Epstein businessman. Musk's post yesterday on X came amid the days-long feud between the billionaire, the former DOJ chief, and the president, which boiled over on the social media yesterday. Yesterday, Elon Musk put up, quote, "Time to drop the real big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT," unquote. And the second post Musk put up, "Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. No credible allegations have ever been made linking Trump to the illegal or illicit activities of Epstein, the late pedophile financier who committed suicide in a New York jail while waiting trial." Now let's back up to the day before yesterday. Our FBI Director, Kash Patel, met with a reporter, a very world-renowned reporter, someone who was honest. And he told that reporter, he also told Congress before that, he testified to the Senate before that at no time was President Trump's name linked in the Epstein files. And Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have gone over the files with a fine-tooth comb. And the Epstein files are soon going to be released by the FBI. And everybody's going to see them. Everybody's going to know what's going on. Epstein had been a major player in the New York and Democratic circles for years. Epstein was socially connected with many high-profile individuals in New York and beyond. Throughout his life, Epstein mingled with a range of influential figures, including celebrities, Oprah, and others. Politicians, Bill Clinton, his wife, even Pocahontas, and other Democrat leaders, business leaders as well, and even academics from the higher institutions of learning. Trump, in fact, distanced himself earlier from Epstein in 2004, months before law enforcement began investigating allegations of sexual impropriety against minors by Epstein in March 2005. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said last month that the delay in releasing the Epstein files is due to the 10,000s of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. She added that there are hundreds of victims and stressed that no one child victim's name will ever get released. No one child's victim's name will ever be released. Epstein died in apparent suicide in a New York jail in 2019, where he was awaiting trial for sex trafficking charges. Dan Bongino on Monday met with Fox and Friends, and he's talked about this. He said the videos will be released. The original videos will be released. They will be enhanced only to the point where Epstein will be seen on the videos. Back in the day, during the early 2000s before that, the videos were very grainy. But these will be enhanced videos to allow everybody to see who was actually in that cell, and he was there by himself. He was there alone. No guards were watching him, although the videos from the jail are there. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino themselves have testified that they are going to release the videos. They're going to release the transcripts. They're going to release all the information, and Pam Bondi is also behind that. The Trump administration early on pledged that there would be full transparency for his files, which have been of intense public scrutiny. Further, President Trump said in November that he would have no problem releasing the Epstein files. Trump and Epstein had a close relationship from 1990s to the early 2000s in the same circles in New York and Palm Beach, Florida. Mar-a-Lago. There are videos in the early 2000s showing then single Trump dancing on the floor of his Mar-a-Lago estate club. Epstein was also invited to that club at Mar-a-Lago. But once President Trump, not present then, once he found out what Epstein was up to, he kicked Epstein out of the Mar-a-Lago club. Later, he closed down the club. Again, yes, Trump did take an Epstein plane and they flew him to New Jersey. But Epstein and Trump had a falling out in 2004. Quote, the reason doesn't make any difference, frankly, which ultimately led Trump to banning Epstein from his Palm Beach estate at Mar-a-Lago. According to several reports, the decision to kick Epstein out was made after an incident involving Epstein's alleged inappropriate behavior towards a young woman at the club. After that incident, Trump is said to have told Epstein that he was no longer welcome. Trump went on also to say in 2019 he was not a fan of Epstein. When the allegations of sex with minors and sex trafficking began with Epstein, Trump said he walked away. A lawyer who represented the victims applauded Trump for being forthright about what he knew. The only thing I can say about President Trump is that he's the only one who in 2009, when he served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people, that I wanted to talk to them, meaning Epstein's attorney. Trump is the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you whatever you need to know." Epstein's attorney said Trump was very helpful in the information he gave and gave no indication whatsoever that Trump was involved in anything untoward whatsoever. But he had good information that checked out. And that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition from him. Civil rights and criminal defense lawyer David Schoen told X last night to refute such suggestions. "I was hired to lead Epstein's defense as his criminal lawyer 9 days before he died. He sought my advice for months before that. I can say authoritatively, unequivocally, and definitively that he had no information to hurt President Trump. I specifically asked him," I said, "the relationship between President Trump and Musk, who until recently headed the President's Department of Government Efficiency. That relationship deteriorated quickly. Yesterday, when Musk spoke out against the one beautiful bill that passed the House and is now being worked on in the Senate, Trump lashed out against Musk, saying he was disappointed by the billionaire's public opposition to the sweeping tax cut and spending bill that is at the heart of the president's agenda. I know for a fact why Musk didn't like it. Because the spending bill that the House appropriated was $2 trillion more than it should have been. Too much pork, Musk said. Too much pork. I agree it was. It was over a 1,000-page bill. Even that was excessive. Musk and Trump traded many strong barbs online. Epstein himself died in apparent suicide in a New York jail in 2019, where he was awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. There is no definitive knowledge that President Trump was even involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Musk, I believe, wanted to sully President Trump's name. Musk was trying to sully President Trump's name. I believe that he was trying to make sure that the big, beautiful bill would not get passed, with the extenuating circumstances of a $2 trillion increase in spending. But Trump has said that if it was not passed, then there will be a huge 68% increase in taxes. A 68% increase in taxes across the board, mostly to lower and middle class people. Lower and middle class citizens are paying taxes. Now, President Trump at first, when he put out the call for Congress to go through the bill and make sure that it included spending for Social Security recipients, he wanted a $200 increase in Social Security recipients' money. He also wanted a decrease in taxes. He wanted a decrease in taxes for people's overtime, including public servants, including police and fire, that worked overtime to be able to provide for their families. He also wanted no tax on tips. No tax on tips for restaurant workers or anyone else. That way, those monies that they earned would not have to go to taxes, but directly to their families and their children. None of that money was put in that bill. None of that money was put in that bill by the House of Representatives. But the House of Representatives approved it anyway. They sent it to the Senate. The Senate's turned it apart. Hopefully with all the crap that's being thrown into the wind here, hopefully the Senate will pass on a bill back to the House with an increase in spending for Social Security recipients. Yes, they need it. They definitely need it. But also for no more taxes on Social Security, no more taxes on tips. No, nothing. It's got to stop. Congress needs to rein in their spending. This can't continue. We're driving our country down into the depths of hell. Our children and our grandchildren are going to have to pay for this. I'm hoping we can stop some of this out of control spending. We have to. Renee Stebby's here in the chat talking about flash flood warnings. A flash flood warning has been issued for Boston, Norton, Massachusetts, and Franklin, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, or Hampshire, Massachusetts, I'm sorry, and also Washington, D.C., Allegheny, Maryland, and Mineral, West Virginia. Flash flood warnings, guys. Flash flood warnings. If you are in the vicinity of Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., or Maryland, you need to go to higher ground. If you're near the harbor in Boston, get away from the harbor. Get away from the harbor. Flash flood warnings. Stay out of roadways that have water overflowing it. Don't drive over it. Those roadways having water flowing over it, the water is undermining the sand and gravel beneath the roadway. When that happens, the roadway is going to collapse like this. Your car is going to go into the water and be stuck. Your car is going to get stuck in the water. Then we are going to have to send out, not me, but our communities are going to have to send out first responders, police and fire department, and possibly Coast Guard to rescue these people. If you're on foot, do not cross flooded roadways. If you're on foot, do not cross flooded roadways, flooded highways, flooded sidewalks. Don't do it. 6 inches of water can knock you over. 6 inches of water can knock you over. And you'll become a pedestrian flowing down the riverbed. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. If you've got 12 inches of water flowing across a roadway, the water can float your car down the gully, down the river, down the creek. Don't do that. Okay? Renee has issued a flash flood warning has been issued by the National Weather Service for Albany, New York, and Dutchess, New York. Now, guys, this is serious. Renee and Heather have been issuing flash flood warnings and tornado warnings for all kinds of places, mostly the Midwest, but yesterday over in New Mexico and Arizona. We're serious, guys. We're serious. Be very careful. Be very careful. No, I don't believe Renee or Heather are meteorologists, but they studied it. They've been watching it for a long time. They have very good information. When they put something out, That's because they've seen the National Weather Service put it out, and they are echoing that here on the chat. That's one reason why we hope that we have a large number of people watching us, so that information gets out to everybody. We want this information to get out to everybody involved. That's one of the reasons we want you all to share this information widely, with your friends, your neighbors, your families, your extended families, the people you socialize with on social media, and the people you work with. If you're watching or hearing this program, share this program immediately. Everybody needs to see this. Surgery mentioned here in the chat that Ryan Hall, y'all, is on YouTube. He's also here putting up information. Ryan Hall, y'all, is a meteorologist. He's very good at it. Now, I cannot put up his feed here on our program. It would be a copyright violation. I don't want to do that. But I have a link to his program down here below our video here today in the top of our program description. Go to our program description right below the government links we have for other things. You'll see Ryan Hall's link. You're going to see Mark Wage's link for solar storms and solar related events. You're also going to see a link that I have here for Mark Pires, who is an entertainer. I think highly of Mark Pires. He comes on the air later at night on YouTube and other places, and he plays music. He jokes around. He has comedy as well. I highly recommend his programs to all of you. Mark Wages as well, and Ryan Hall, y'all. Okay? Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Ryan Hall puts up information for across the United States and also down in Puerto Rico. He's great. He's got accurate information. He also has storm chasers that are affiliated with his program. So not only does he have accurate information where he's at, but he has these storm chasers out in the storm giving you information. Accurate, pertinent information, right on the money. Okay? Surgery just put up a chat here in the chat. The biggest advice is, if we have any, is to, if you see water flowing across the road, turn around, don't drown. Turn around, don't drown. Flooding can change in the blink of an eye. Like I said, water can inundate the bottom roadbed of the roadway, and then the roadway collapses, and then you die. Don't do it. Don't do it. Renee Steffi is also saying a flash flood warning for Allegheny, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Fayette, Pennsylvania, Washington, Pennsylvania, Westmoreland, Pennsylvania as well. The Panhandle of Oklahoma, Cimarron, Texas, a tornado watch, and the Texas Panhandle. Watch includes numerous counties as well. Please be advised what's going on. Okay? The storm chasers on Ryan Hall's program will give you the latest information. Okay? Please do that. Please do that. Does anybody else have any information that they want to pass on to me so I can pass it on to everybody else? Another tornado watch for Albuquerque, New Mexico, Curry, New Mexico, Harding, New Mexico, Quay, New Mexico, Roosevelt, New Mexico, and Union, New Mexico. Again, all that monsoonal moisture is coming out of Mexico straight up into Arizona, New Mexico, and southwestern Texas. Linda Cummings says we're on a weather alert. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Surgery says Pritchett, Colorado may have a tornado. Wouldn't surprise me. Tornado watch includes Midland, Odessa, Texas area, Eddy, New Mexico, Leah, New Mexico, Andrews, Texas, Borden, Texas, Dawson, Texas, Gaines, Texas, Howard, Texas, Martin, Texas, and Mitchell. Charlene is asking earthquake information about Nevada. Folks, Nevada has been having some earthquakes. Nevada has been having some earthquakes. Let's bring up the USGS map again here. Take down our webcam here. Let's go up here into Nevada, okay? Yes, we've had some earthquakes here. Let's go over here. This is Tonopah, Nevada. Tonopah, Nevada. This is volcano country. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. A 2.1 earthquake here. We go west over here. This is Mina, Nevada. Mina, Nevada. What do we know about Mina, Nevada, guys? What do we know about Mina, Nevada? Guys, this is one of the areas where we had a 6.9 earthquake here about 2.5 years ago. A 6.9 earthquake. Guys, what do we know about it? This is Volcano Alley. This is Volcano Alley. As you can see, there are craters and vents here all over the valley floor here. Craters and vents all over the valley floor here. You can see them here. This is Volcano Alley. Okay? Mina and Tonopah, Nevada are literally Volcano Alley. 1.8 tremor here, Mina, Nevada. Let's go further over here to the east. This is over in Caliente, Nevada. Caliente, Nevada. Again, where is this at? Let's pull this over here. This is at Four Corners between Nevada, Utah, this area right here, okay, and New Mexico. Okay, what do we have here? Again, what do we see here? You see this here? This is a partial crater. This is a vent where a volcano had erupted. Right here we have an earthquake. A 4.0 earthquake here in Caliente, Nevada. What do we see here, guys? What do we see here? I appreciate you guys reminding me about these earthquakes in Nevada, because I was going to talk about them. Guys, this is Volcano Alley here. Volcano vents all over this area, guys. This 4.0 here was actually a 4.5. It was downgraded. This is a 1.9, 2.0 earthquake here. 2.0 minor earthquake. It's an aftershock. This other 4.0, 4.5. Okay? This is lava. These are lava fields here. These are lava fields. And just west of there, what is this? Can anybody tell me what this used to be? This was a Nevada testing ground for nuclear weapons. The US and British tested underground nuclear weapons here, right in this area. Very bad. Very bad. These nuclear weapons, when they were tested, set up earthquakes here. The ground is still frail to that. The ground is still frail from that testing. Let's go further over here to the east. What do we have here? Can anybody tell me what we have? Southwestern Utah. Southwestern Utah. Northwestern New Mexico. We have Nevada over here. Volcanoes on this side of the border with Utah. More volcanoes and craters over here. Look at this. Right here. Look at this. Craters all over this area, guys. Enterprise, Utah. Washington, Utah here. And also east of St. George. East of St. George. Craters over here as well. You don't have to look very far outside of St. George to see this area is also Volcano Alley. Okay? Volcanoes all over this area. Shirley's saying, do we understand the fault lines in the Nevada region and the old volcanic fields? I think we take advantage of it. Most people don't understand it because they don't know what's going on. They've never studied it. I have. I know what exactly is going on here in the St. George region, down here in southwestern Washington and southwestern St. George, Utah. My brother lives there. His kids live there. My nieces and nephews live here. But what's going on further north right here? What's going on further here? The Black Rock Desert Volcano. The Black Rock Desert Volcano is right here. I spent a great deal of time here, hours and hours chipping away at a volcano here, right here. The Black Rock Desert Volcano right in here, right here as well. Do we have any questions? Yes, we do have earthquakes here in Utah as well, right here. Fayette, Utah. This is along the western side of the Wasatch Mountain. The Wasatch Mountain come out of southeastern Idaho, go all the way down here to central Utah. Wasatch Fault Line. The Wasatch Fault Line has 7 segments. First segment in southeastern Idaho, going all the way down through Utah, all the way down here. Any one segment of the Wasatch Fault could take us up to a 6.5, 7.5 earthquake. Any one segment or all segments together could pop. Major earthquake here in Utah. Fayette, Utah here is a 1.1 tremor. It's on the Wasatch Fault, guys. The Wasatch Fault. This earthquake here in Emory, Utah, the same thing. This is also on the fault. Also on the fault. Earthquakes happen here all the time. All the time. We've had earthquakes up here in northern Utah. Snowville, Utah, right up here. Up here in southeastern Idaho. Folks, I was born right here. I was born right here. Folks, I know this area intimately. Folks, there's also vents here from the volcano. I've talked about this before, and I've talked about it for the past 6.5 years. The Yellowstone magma chamber starts up near the Canadian border. It goes all the way down here into northern Utah. Goes all the way down here through southeastern Idaho. All the way down here into northern Utah. Yellowstone magma chamber, guys. Shirley is saying, are there 10 major faults that run through the 7 segments? No, it's one huge fault zone. One huge fault zone with 7 segments of the Wasatch Fault. 7 segments of the Wasatch Fault. The Wasatch Fault starts here and goes all the way south through Utah here, northern Utah, goes all the way down here to southern, or not central, but central Utah here. Central Utah right here. Mark McCarthy said the Buford Mountain in Missouri's ancient volcano zone has been smelling like sulfur in places. That's right. It has. There are at least 2, maybe 3 volcanoes in Missouri. Okay? That's why you are smelling sulfur dioxide. Magma down beneath the surface. That's what's happening. The Yellowstone magma chamber is 11 Grand Canyons in size. 11 Grand Canyons in size. Just for kicks and giggles. Over here off the coast of Northern California, off the coast of Petrolia, California, we have another 2.7 earthquake. In the northern Sierra Mountains, we have a 2.4 earthquake here in Mentone, California. Central Idaho, Stanley, Idaho again. More swarming earthquakes here. About 4.5 years ago, we had a 6.5 earthquake here. 6.5 earthquake. These earthquakes are as a result of 2 different fault zones. 2 different fault zones in this area. You notice this red earthquake? Red means it just happened. Just happened within the last 40 minutes. This earthquake is a 3.2. Yesterday we had a 4.5 earthquake here. We're having a huge swarm of earthquakes. When we have swarms of earthquakes, what does it mean? That only means, folks, that the seismic energy is building up. It's building up. We are going to have a large earthquake here. The last time that happened, we had a much larger earthquake, a 6.5 earthquake. I believe that's what's going on now. This swarming means we're going to have a large earthquake. You can see the fault here. Look at that fault right there. We also have a river running through it. There happens to be a fault right under that river. Okay? Any questions? Rumbling in Tennessee now. Yes, there is rumbling in Tennessee. Why? Do you guys know why there's rumbling over here in Tennessee? Does anybody have any ideas why we have rumbling here in Tennessee? Number 1, we have the Blue Ridge Mountains here, or what they like to call the Appalachian Mountains. Look where they run. Down here, even into Chattanooga, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. Guess what? There is also something else going on. We have a Tennessee fault zone. We have a Tennessee seismic zone here as well. Right about there. The Tennessee seismic zone. Okay? That's why we have earthquakes here. Charlene Mayo says, plates grinding against each other? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Why? Why do you think plates are grinding against each other? Over here in the Mid-Atlantic, we have the Mid-Atlantic Fault. See the Mid-Atlantic Fault here on the map. The Mid-Atlantic Plate is pushing the North American Plate in a south-southwesterly direction. Guess what? See this great big huge fault zone here? This is the Eastern Continental Divide. It's no small wonder we're having earthquakes here. Earthquakes all the way up to Nova Scotia, Canada, along this same fault line. Yes, folks, it goes all the way up here. Goes all the way up here. Okay? It's Eastern Craton, Eastern Continental Divide. It's no small wonder we're having earthquakes here. Even 4.0, 4.5 earthquakes here in North Carolina. But of course, the agency's not going to talk about it. 4.5 earthquake down here near the ocean. 4.5 earthquake down here. 3.5, 3.0, 4.5 earthquakes. But the agency is not going to tell us, because heaven forbid that people know what's going on. Heaven forbid anybody knows what's going on. They don't want anybody to know. We have earthquakes in Utah and Idaho. We have earthquakes happening over in the Pacific Northwest. The whole place is moving. The whole place is moving. But of course, the agencies don't give a darn. They don't care who gets hurt. I do. That's why I have been covering it. That's why I have been covering it here on the EMA channel. Okay? Not only do we have the Pacific plate here and the Juan de Fuca plate subducting here underneath the North American plate, we have volcanoes. Without subduction, we would not have volcanoes. Without subduction, we would not have volcanoes. And we have volcanoes about to erupt. Eruption and subduction go hand in hand. That's what's happening. Southeastern Vancouver Island, 1.6 tremor. Over here, Mount Vernon, Washington, we have a swarm of earthquakes. Right now, this is a 1.4 tremor, but it's only a tremor here. It's a huge swarm. Huge swarm. I got notified by one of our viewers that this swarm was occurring. They were only reporting a 1.4 tremor, that there's a swarm of earthquakes here in Vancouver, Washington. But they are never going to tell us exactly what's going on. Down here to the south, Gold Bar, Washington, 0.6 microquake. Further south here, in the southern side of the Puget Sound area, this is a 1.0 in Boulevard Park, Washington. Olympic, Washington, right here at the base of the volcano. This is a 0.4 microquake here. Snohomish, Washington. Let's go over here to Mount Rainier. West of Mount Rainier is 0.2 microquake. At Mount Rainier is 0.5 microquake. Folks, there are dozens of microquakes here at Mount Rainier. I showed you that on the seismogram last night. USGS is saying microquakes. There was a 3.5 earthquake here yesterday here at Mount Rainier. They don't talk about that. This volcano is about to erupt. Northwest of Mount St. Helens, Mossy Rock, Washington, a 1.1 tremor. 1.2 here, east-southeast of Mossy Rock. Notice they're not showing any earthquakes whatsoever at Mount St. Helens today. There are earthquakes. There are tremors and minor earthquakes. 3.0, 3.5, 4.0 here at Mount St. Helens today. They're not showing anything. Southwest of Mount St. Helens, 0.4 microquake. Why is USGS only reporting microquakes? Inquiring minds want to know. Southwest of that, Coloma, Washington, allegedly a 0.8 microquake there. But further to the west here, right here, notice this yield sign here? What does that tell us? An alleged explosion here at Prescott, Oregon. 2.5 miles northeast of Prescott, Oregon. Interesting. Let's zoom in here and let you see where it's at. Look at this, right next to the river. There's no explosion here, guys. Again, USGS is pulling their head, or not pulling their head, but putting their head up their butt. putting their head up their butt. They say this is a 1.4 explosion. No, it's not. It's definitely not a 1.4 explosion. What do you think it is? Does anybody have any idea what it is? I do. I do. Let me show you what it is. Spontaneous combustus carnivorous. Thank you, Demon Catman. Spontaneous combustus carnivorous, an exploding tree. No, it's not. It's not an explosion. It's not an exploding tree. It's a minor tremor. A minor tremor, guys. But again, USGS cannot get their head out of their butts. They cannot get their heads out of their butts. They don't know their butts from a hole in the ground. Period. Right next to a river. Right next to a cotton picking river. It's not an explosion. USGS lies, they cheat, they steal. Renee Steffi is saying there is a thunderstorm warning. 6 p.m. Central Time, Lubbock, Texas. Crosby, Texas. Hale, Texas. Golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Golf ball hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Take cover now. Take cover now. Go to the most inside portion of your home, your hallway, bathroom, away from any windows. Make sure you're not along interior walls or exterior walls of your home. Make sure you're not next to the exterior walls of your home. Go into the center of your home and pull a mattress on top of you to keep anything from coming on top of you after the tornado hits. If you have a basement, go down to the corner of your basement and stay there. Stay there. Pull a mattress over your head to keep anything from falling on you. Okay? Go to your shelter. If you have a tornado shelter, get there. Go to the inner side of your home. If you don't have a shelter, get there and stay there until there's an all clear signal given. Now, guys, I hate calling USGS a liar, but they are. The United States Geological Survey is a liar. They don't report anything as it is. Down here south of Mount Hood, they say this is a 0.4 microquake. Wapanita, Oregon. Folks, there are a bunch of minor tremors, earthquakes, 2.0 to 3.5 here at Mount Hood. Dozens of microquakes. They're showing a 0.4 here. All kinds of microquakes. Other volcanoes here as well. Why are they not telling us about these? Why are they not telling us about these other volcanoes? Newberry, Sisters Volcanic Complex, Mount Bachelor. Why not? Sisters Volcanic Complex, 3 different volcanoes there. 3 different crater volcanoes there, right there. Why are they not telling us about it? Why are they not telling us about Crater Lake? Why are they not telling us about Crater Lake? There's only one seismograph at Crater Lake that's reporting anything. They've disabled the other seismographs. Stupid. Stupid. Renee Steffi's put out a tornado warning for Pueblo, Colorado, south central Colorado. Pueblo, Colorado. Baseball size hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is a pretty darn strong storm. Pretty dangerous storm, PDS storm. Pretty dangerous storm. Take cover now. Sage Pub is reporting another 3.2 earthquake in Stanley, Idaho. Oh yeah, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. There's going to be a major earthquake in Stanley, Idaho any day now. There's going to be a major earthquake in Stanley, Idaho any day now. Promise you. Any questions here? I'll be happy to take any questions right now. Shirley's asking, what about the first earthquake in Stanley, Idaho? Yesterday there was a 4.5 there. Today it's a 3. I believe it was 3.5. I showed you that just a little bit ago. Okay. Brokefish N says you have to look at them around Crater Lake to get an idea of what's happening. There's only one seismograph, and that is at the south central part of Crater Lake. It's called the bunkhouse. That is the only accurate seismograph around. They've disabled Mount Scott to the southeast. They've disabled Cleetwood Cove to the northeast. Basically, Wizard Island, which is actually the summit of Crater Lake, volcano, is inaccurate because it's exposed to the elements. There's only really one authentic seismograph at Crater Lake. That's Cleetwood. That is used to be Cleetwood Cove as well, but it is a bunkhouse now. And yes, we're having earthquakes at Crater Lake. Any questions? Tornado warning at Cimarron, Oklahoma. Cimarron, Oklahoma. Take cover now. Take cover now if you live anywhere on or around or in or around Cimarron, Oklahoma. Any questions, guys? I'm happy to have you here. I'm glad we were able to have a talk here. I hope I've answered any questions that are going on. Be careful about what you hear in the news media about the president. Our president is a man. He's fallible. But I believe he's still trying to represent the country. He's still trying to help us become better. He's better than what we had before. He's 1,000 times better than what we had before. And even that, Biden is under indictment. Biden is under investigation. Biden and his entire administration have been put under investigation right now. Somebody's going to go to jail over that one. Charlene, I've never heard about a subfloor volcano at Crater Lake before. I don't know. I can't say yes or no about it. I'll check into it. Brokefish is asking if I'm having a good day. I'm having a fairly good day. Better than yesterday. Renee Steffi's issued a flood warning from the National Weather Service for Albany, New York. Shockley, New York. Schoharie, New York. Northwestern New York. Flash flood warning. Heavy rains, flash flood warning. All that storm that Renee, myself, and Rebecca had here in South and North Carolina during the past several days. All that moisture has moved north, and that's what we're seeing over in Virginia, West Virginia, New York area, going up into Pennsylvania, and north from there into Washington. All that moisture has moved north, and now we're having major flash flood warnings. We may even have some thunderstorm warnings there. Okay? A thunderstorm warning for Westmoreland, Pennsylvania, and Allegheny, Pennsylvania. I've been there. I've been in both places for a disaster drill years ago. Guys, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to let you go. Folks, I've enjoyed being with you tonight. We will be back on the air tonight or tomorrow morning if anything else happens. Usually we try to take Saturdays off. We take Saturdays off because I need a break. Okay? I need a break. But if anything else happens, we will be coming back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Sunday during the day, we will come back on the air about 12:30 for our Sunday school class we titled, Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. Again, we're going to be talking about Jesus Christ and his meaning in our lives. Folks, read your scriptures. Read your scriptures because the scriptures will give you enhanced revelation to yourselves. The scriptures will give you personal revelation for yourself. Pray. Heavenly Father will give you personal revelation as well. Heavenly Father will give you great personal revelation yourself. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is ask. I want to go now to 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and also into chapter 3. I want to go to chapter 2, verse 10 and 11. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. Let me go back to verse 10, verse 9, I should say. But as it is written, eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man, the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. For what man knoweth the things of man, save the Spirit of man, which is in him? Even so the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. Now I want to go into the second verse of chapter 3. Here Paul talks to all of us. Even though he's saying brethren in the Corinthians, and I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Christ. Why is that? Why do you think that he's talking to us as babes in Christ? Because, folks, we don't know enough to have meat. We don't know enough to have meat. Verse 2 clarifies this. I fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto you were not able to bear it. Neither yet now are ye able. Jesus Christ during his ministry told us to become his children. Why? Because children can be influenced. Children can be given information that we as adults wouldn't even see because we're too hard-headed. The Lord told us to become his children. Contrite spirits, spirits that can be given information, spirits can receive revelation from God. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's read the scriptures to find out what the Lord has for us. Let's also pray for personal revelation to guide and direct us. Please do that. Please do that. I want to thank everybody that's been here for our program. Again, I'm going to ask you to share this program with everybody you know, your family, your extended family, your friends and neighbors, the people you associate with on social media, and also people you work with. Share far and wide. Before you leave tonight, please give us a thumbs up as well. Okay? I appreciate you all. Across the bottom of your screen here, we've had our PayPal and Venmo addresses here. Scrolling across the bottom of your screen so you'll be able to know where you can send us donations. I haven't seen any donations come across the Super Chat today, but I thank everybody for helping support this program. We appreciate it. Our email address is going across the bottom of the screen right now. rltnspdema at gmail.com. Our address where you can send cards and letters and also send donations inside the cards and letters is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401. Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code here is 28655. We'd appreciate that greatly. Brothers and sisters, be careful. Be careful out there. Renee has also put up another thunderstorm warning until 6 p.m. Central Time, which is another 25 minutes from now. Idalou, Texas, Idalou, Texas, until 6 p.m. 70-mile-per-hour winds, golf ball size hail, a pretty dangerous storm. Be careful out there. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Have a great